This is day 5 of Operation Sindoor. As far as India is concerned, the initial statement was that India had gone, Operation Sindoor had an objective. That objective was achieved by destroying, demolishing those centers of terrorist groups, Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, plus their launch pads in occupied Kashmir. So their job was over. Government of India said that our Operation Sindoor, as far as we are concerned, that is over. We don't want to escalate. The Pakistanis, however, as we know, escalated, and then they said, we will also come for revenge. And that cycle has gone on since then. And since then, every night, things seem to be getting worse or getting more intense. Last night, there were lots of missile fire on Indian air bases from the Pakistani side. Pakistanis claimed they were hypersonic missiles, but no, they were ballistic missiles. Uh, India also fired long-distance standoff weapons at major Pakistani bases. Pakistanis said these were air launched. These were air launched. That means from an aircraft, not ground launched. But you could see there was damage on Pakistani air bases. Those pictures were available, particularly Rafiki Air Base and some of the others. So all that we saw, and in the morning then, they gave that operation a name, and obviously they had objectives with that operation. And objectives, as they now say, claiming success, was to demolish or destroy a lot of the critical infrastructure of Indian armed forces, particularly the Indian Air Force. And those are the installations that they attacked, essentially focusing on air bases and around them. Now, at the Indian briefing, it was said that hardly any damage was caused, that these attacks were ineffectual. The Pakistanis said these were fantastic for them and they achieved all objectives and they really pulverized everything they wanted to. The Indian side said this is a huge exaggeration. There might be some odd injury or some harm to some personnel, and maybe damage to some instruments. But Pakistani claims that a big dump of BrahMos missiles was destroyed, or that the S-400 missile batteries were destroyed. All of that, the Government of India spokesperson said, is not true. Now, this is what we get sitting in Delhi. But to get sense, how do you get a sense of what's actually happening? This is what comes in Delhi is distilled from everything that's happened. Plus, besides being distilled, it's also packaged. It's packaged by government spokespersons on this side. It's packaged by the Pakistanis in their own way. There's no alternative to having feet and eyes on the ground. And that is what the print has done. So the team you see here are brilliant reporters and camera people. I will go from my left to right and I will tell you the names and tell you who they are and what they do. Sagrika Kissu, she's a reporter. She's at Poonch. Poonch, as you know, is seeing a hell of a lot of shelling. And you know, I've been under shelling. It's very unnerving. It's very unnerving. Most human beings are not able to handle more than a few hours of shelling. And you think about soldiers who live their lifetimes under shelling. And also when it becomes vague, pointless shelling. That's what happens on the line of control quite often, that you keep firing for the heck of it. You're not particularly aiming at something. This is for harassment. So Sagrika is putting up with that, and with her is Suraj Singh Bisht. They are partners in Poonch, and they are together dealing with the shells going overhead. Sajid Ali Mir, he's the head of our video section. He belongs to Kashmir. He went to Poonch first. First couple of nights he was in Poonch, and then he's carried on. He's in Srinagar. His home is in Poovanna, and he's been fighting from there. Praveen Jain now, right below Sagrika Kissu on your screen. Praveen Jain in the second row, extreme left. He's our national photo editor. He's right now in Srinagar with Sajid Ali Mir, but in a way, he's our field commander because he's the most experienced and he's the most knowledgeable, and he's been through these situations more than anybody else, including me. He's got more experience of field journalism than any of us. Next to him, Nootan. Nootan is in Gujarat, in Bhuj right now, but she moves out of Bhuj because what have we done? We have positioned people in every state bordering Pakistan because right now every state's border is hot and live. There are no exceptions. Rajasthan, Gujarat, Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir, all these borders are live, and Pakistanis routinely throw projectiles at all of them, and firing takes place. And also, you can see that both sides are Pakistanis, as our spokesperson said, are forward deploying heavily. Our side obviously is taking adequate precautions. So that's why our reporters are in every state. Gujarat is an important state, very large border with Pakistan, and also economically very important, politically very important. Nootan Sharma is in Bhuj. Nootan, take care, look after yourself. Uh, Bismee Taskin in our team usually covers crime and stuff like that. She's in Ferozepur today, Ferozepur Bathinda. I think the home base we've given you is Bathinda.
The home base is was Bathinda. I have shifted to Firozpur today.
Yeah, so you can keep moving. It's about what, 2 hours of driving time now?
2 hours of driving, yeah, but then they have stopped media from accessing the border villages, so we had to take another route and then
Yeah.
come out from there.
Yeah. So Firozpur is also on the banks of the Satluj River, and at the other side, India has an enclave where the Samadhi of Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev uh, are located. It is the last town before the border. Then you have Kasur, etc. on the other side. Firozpur has also been under attack. Bathinda, which has a large army formation and also an air base, that's been under attack. It got quite a bit of this drone Christmas gifts from the Pakistanis last couple of days. So you are in a very critical zone. Manisha Mondal has been a photographer, but as actually a multimedia photojournalist, so writes her stories and also takes pictures. Manisha is en route to Kutch. Manisha and Nootan will be generally floating in the Gujarat area, border districts of Gujarat, sometimes moving together and sometimes individually. The bottom row, Mayank Kumar, also from our crime bureau in Delhi. He's in a hot place right now, Amritsar. Amritsar was kept awake all of the night. It had a lot of projectiles sent at it, and in fact, at one point, I heard the Pakistani spokesperson, DG ISPR, such as he is, he said that India had fired 6 ballistic missiles from Adampur to Amritsar because India hated the Sikhs and wanted to kill the Sikhs. And I thought for a moment, ये सचमुच में है या ये AI है? Because however less bright the General Saab might be, but he knows that Adampur to Amritsar is just about 100 kilometers. For a ballistic missile to travel that distance within India's own territory, it has to go very high and come down just to cover 100 kilometers. And Amritsar, it's not as if everybody in Amritsar is a Sikh. The population is almost even. So it was so idiotic that I thought that this was either an AI deep fake or that the Pakistanis wanted to do something really mischievous, which is that they wanted to fire ballistic missiles in Amritsar and blame India by saying that this was also a false flag operation, and the idea was to hurt the Sikhs. So this was Pakistanis again playing communal politics, and reassuring thing was that Mayank is there. So when something happens, we'll know. Krishan Murari is in Jaisalmer, Rajasthan, again a very active area. By the time you get to Jaisalmer, the border there, it becomes very remote and very distant. So Jaisalmer, Bikaner, Barmer, those are the border districts. Those are almost too far from anywhere. Rajasthan is also a state which has two commands. So, Southwestern Air Command is in Jodhpur, and the Southwestern Army Command is in Jaipur, because Rajasthan has a large exposed border and open spaces with Pakistan. Krishan Murari is based in Jodhpur and moving around from there. Right now, he's in Jaisalmer. Sajid, I've told you about already. Extreme right, and I know all of you are standing. All of you are in the northwest of India. Uh, it's very hot. I know all of you are standing in about 40 degrees temperature. So hot that your phones must be hotting up. But you are tough people. Sharan, you are the toughest of all. You are built like a prize fighter. Sharan, some of you might know, is our Bangalore correspondent. Uh, he's also, I think, the only one in the group who has done the defense correspondence course with the Ministry of Defense. Uh, he is in Jammu. That is a hot place, hot among the hottest place to be, besides Poonch, because Jammu is the one that gets this avalanche uh, of, 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 of loitering munitions and drones. It's almost like thousands of these people, thousands of these monsters coming in every evening. In fact, the sun sets and action starts in Jammu. So, Sharan, thank you for being there. Now, what we'll do is we'll talk with each one of you just for a couple of minutes and tell me what's been happening in your areas. And then I know you have to endure the heat, but you've chosen to be on the field. So, Sajid, since you were the first one to go, tell us your experiences, the stories you've done, and you hit the ground running and you went into the hottest zone. You went to Poonch, where shells must have been falling all around you.
So when I reached the Poonch, there were already reports that almost 13 people were killed in the Pakistani shellings, and this was the first time after 1971 war when they had deliberately shelled the civilian population. In 1971 war, two people had died because of the shellings, but this time the number was very huge. It was 16. It was 13, and on the 7th of the night when the operation started, the total number of deaths in entire clashes were 16, and 13 of those were just in the Poonch city. Uh, Poonch city has majority Muslim population, and it has some Hindus and Sikhs. But this time there were more Sikhs had died somehow in this. Not somehow. They had targeted Gurdwara. They had targeted a Sikh locality where it had created havoc in the entire community there. Also, the Punchis, the Punch residents had already started moving out of the city the moment they started hearing the ceasefire violations right after the Operation Sindoor. And the remaining people stood there thinking that they would be spared this time because they have never faced it since 1971. So they continued their lives, but they took precautions. The locals told me that unko they weren't officially told to take care, to be cautious about it, but it is in their psyche since they live in line of control areas. It's in their psyche that they live very, very cautiously. But this time, the first shell landed in the Poonch city at at a Sardar's hardware store, and the splinters killed two people on the spot and injured 7 8 people. And at the same time, like within the span of 20 30 minutes, uh, they shelled a gurdwara, they shelled a madrasa where a teacher got killed, they shelled near
That
us
is
a
that is
Christ school.
Kari Iqbal.
Yes, Kari Iqbal.
And in the Gurdwara also a priest was killed.
No, priest was not killed in the Gurdwara. He was killed near his house, actually.
I see. I
Yes,
see.
he was near his house. And they also target two kids also got killed near a school called Christ School.
Right.
So they, they targeted
ये
indiscriminately.
ये
And
ये आपके होते हो गया था सब कुछ ये?
no, it had happened just uh, almost 7 hours before I reached there.
Were you
I
scared with the shelling?
So I did not witness it the moment I reached there, but I was quite horrified when I saw these shrapnels had pierced through almost like 1.5 feet walls, like concrete walls. They had pierced through these, and they had torn everything, which whatever came in. They had even melted the iron rods of these slabs. So these scenes were quite scary.
Yeah.
So I reported about on it, and I wasn't expected. Even the remaining Punchis told me that ab nahi hoga koi, there won't be any shelling in the remaining time. But by the time I was writing it, we were given a space in, I think now I can say Dark Bungalow Poonch, because there was no hotels, no restaurants, nothing, like absolutely nothing. So we were given one hotel, some other journalists, and the moment we started filing our stories, uh, we heard a siren, the warning siren, and within 10 minutes, the barrage started coming in. The loud explosions started happening, and initially we took it casually. We thought that it's far a distant to be. It's we are at a distance, so we are safe. But within half an hour, the explosions started getting louder, and we could feel that it's coming towards the Poonch town where we were residing. So the local officers at the Duck Bungalow and some police officials, they moved us in hurry in another location. It wasn't a bung, it wasn't a bunker, but it was an enclosed space, a tourist reception center. We were sitting in the lobbies. While we were sitting there, and it's the time when drones when multiple parts of India, multiple parts of North India, Khaskar defense installations were attacked using drones and all. So while we were reading about it, filing stuff about it, uh, there was all kinds of shellings were taking place above our heads. So as time moved on, the shelling kept getting fiercer. The noise was louder. It shook the buildings, the window panes. We can hear it. What was the worst part was the whiz before a projectile,
Yes.
and boom. And
Yes.
for a moment, like some of us, we would count. Let's count how the duration of this particular whiz, and see what happens. And one, two, three, four, and boom. So we spent the whole night like huddled together. Some people were saying Ram Ram, some people were saying Allah Allah, ki this is the last day and all. Ab kya karenge, ye wo. And uh, so yeah, this was the first night there, and I, it was very sad state of affairs there. We could hear screams, at a distance. I heard, or all of us actually heard a woman screaming, but we could do nothing. And this is when these local officials told us, "You guys stay assured. She will be taken care of." And it actually, like, she kept calm after that. But
Yeah,
we didn't.
because human beings do help each other in times of crisis. So, Sagrika, you and Suraj picked up the baton from Sajid, and Praveen Jain joined up with Sajid, and the two of you went to the valley over the Mughal road.
I
Oh,
came via Mughal Road. Yeah, Praveen will say the remaining story.
Yeah.
मैं दिल्ली से चला था तो
हाँ.
24 आवर्स लग गए थे मेरे को श्रीनगर पहुंचने में
हाँ.
बिकॉज जम्मू श्रीनगर हाईवे में टोटल जैम था
हाँ.
7 आवर्स 8 आवर्स जैम था आई टेल यू शेखर मैं 1982 से रेगुलर कश्मीर आ रहा हूँ मैंने काफी प्लेसेस देखे हैं कश्मीर के हंसता कश्मीर देखा है सैड कश्मीर देखा है और एक टाइम तो ऐसा था कि जब हम इंडियन लाइंस की फ्लाइट से श्रीनगर एयरपोर्ट उतरते इस वक्त भी डर लगता था कि हमको कोई रॉकेट लॉन्चर ना मार दे और अभी पिछले 2 साल में इतना खुशहाल मैंने कश्मीर देखा है जो मैंने कई साल से नहीं देखा था 2 साल के अंदर कश्मीर में इतने चेहरे पे रौनक थी लोगों के और और एंटी इंडिया जो फीलिंग थी वो ऑलमोस्ट खत्म हो चुकी थी और अब जो प्रो पाकिस्तान के नारे लगाते थे उनको बिजी होते हुए देखा है। डल लेक में लोग खुश थे और टूरिस्ट का आना जाना भी मैंने देखा। तो अब मैं ये सिर्फ बतलाना चाह रहा हूँ कि आफ्टर द पहलगाम अटैक थिंग्स आर टोटली चेंज है। अब उनके रोजगार वगैरह सारे खत्म हो चुके हैं। और मैं एक और बात बताना चाहता हूँ, जब मैं पहलगाम अटैक के बाद, अभी सॉरी, मैं श्रीनगर जब आ रहा था तो 7 आवर्स के जाम में फंसा हुआ था। तो मैंने काफी लोगों से बात की, और क्योंकि जैम में था तो लोगों से बात करके मेरे को काफी लोग, देवर वेरी एंग्री विद पाकिस्तान, कि ये पाकिस्तान ने हमारे रोजी रोटी छीन रहा है। वो कभी सोच भी नहीं सकते थे, या मैं कभी सोच भी नहीं सकता था कि मैं ऐसी बातें उनसे सुनूंगा। देवर वेरी एंग्री विद पाकिस्तान। और स्पेशली मैंने कभी सोचा नहीं था कि वो श्रीनगर में भी अटैक कर सकते हैं पाकिस्तान का, जैसे आज हुआ डल लेक पे।
अच्छा।
तो
आपको
हाँ,
आपको
डल,
आपको आपको डर डर लगा सुबह इतने वहां पे ड्रोन्स आई और इतने
नहीं नहीं, क्योंकि कारगिल मैं ऑलरेडी आपको बताया कवर कर चुका था।
हाँ
और कारगिल के अलावा तो कारगिल एक्चुअली लिमिटेड जगह थी जहां पर
हाँ।
अटैक टाइगर हिल से आ रहे थे, तो हमको पता है कि गोला कहाँ से आ रहा है। ये जो ड्रोन अटैक है ये मेरे लिए नया है। ड्रोन अटैक जो हो रहा है, और स्पेशली श्रीनगर के अंदर उन्होंने डल के अंदर जैसे किया, और वेरियस प्लेस कश्मीर में किया, तो दे आर वेरी एंग्री कश्मीरी लोकल। उन्होंने सोचा नहीं होगा कि यहाँ भी अटैक हो सकता है, तो दे आर वेरी
Sagrika,
अपसेट। जी।
Sagrika, you picked up the baton from Sajid.
The day I came to Poonch, so I had a word with Sajid earlier. So Sajid said, "Don't stay in Poonch. It's going to be very scary. Find a different accommodation."
You are a Kashmiri too.
Yeah, Suran Court में रह लो या कहीं और रह लो, but don't stay in Poonch because I had a horrific night. And I was like, okay, fine. We reached yesterday. We shifted to moved our base to Suran Court in the night. We said, okay, Suran Court might be safer. So we went to, we didn't enter Poonch block. So Poonch district is divided into three blocks: Maindar, Surancoat, and Poonch block. We didn't enter Poonch block. We were like 3, 4, 5 kilometers away from Poonch block. So I thought that, okay, let's talk to a few people here and let's see. There was nobody. But there was a man who said, there was a man who said that don't worry, nothing is going to happen here. I said, okay, fine. And 5 minutes later, there is a loud explosion and there is nobody there. I and Suraj in the car with our driver. I don't know what to do. I was panicking. I was like, what has happened? And then series of explosion. It is happening in front of our light. We can see the light streak. It's falling there. And we somehow reached Surancoat. And we were like, I was like, Suraj, okay, fine. We are in Surancoat now. Night is going to be fine. We can sleep. And Surankot, I want to say this: Surankot has been considered as a relatively safer area. As Sajid said, that people left Poonch. I went to Poonch today. Poonch is 95% people have left Poonch, and Surankot is a relatively safer area. We reached Surankot. We were in the hotel, and I told Suraj, okay, let's Suraj sleep now. We'll have to wake up early in the morning, reach Poonch, do our stories and all of that. I leave the room, and another explosion in Surancoat, right in front of our hotel. Next hotel, right in front of us. Shell fell there,
And and
and
and
then
there,
there were series
and,
of
and there was no target there, no military installation, no antenna,
no,
nothing.
no, no, no. And the hotel was run by a Muslim man, and he came to us and he said, "मेरे साथ चलो." And उसने बहुत पहले जब घर बनाया था 20-25 साल पहले, तो उसने अपने grains के लिए had kept an underground basement. So he said, it's very dirty, but this is the only place I can provide you. And my night went with his 10 family members and other people in the hotel. Like with 20 people huddled up in that basement. We slept there and we could hear explosion. It felt that it's happening right in front of us.
Yeah.
It's
But
happening uh, right in front of us. And in the morning, I spoke to people and they said that after 1971, Surancoat and the civilian population in Surancoat has been targeted for the very first time. And now where will they go? Because Punchis came to Surancoat, they can't go to Jammu, they can't go to Rajouri. Rajouri is also facing intense shelling. So where will they go? I would like Suraj to continue from here
okay.
about what we witnessed today in Punch.
सूरज आपने क्या देखा और आपकी स्टोरी क्या मिली मुझे बताओ।
सर लास्ट नाइट हम जब
क्योंकि
सोने के लिए जा रहे थे, देन
आप तो तीर्थ यात्रा पे गए हुए थे। केदारनाथ की,
जी जी जी।
वहां से आपको
यस
सीधा,
सर।
जैसे हमने सीधा यहाँ पे खदेड़ दिया।
हाँ जी हाँ जी। सो सर हम जैसे ही यहाँ पहुंचे एंड देन हमने डिसाइड किया कि हम पुंछ चलेंगे। एंड देन सागरिका सेड कि इट्स लेट, तो हम वहाँ पहुंच नहीं पाएंगे क्योंकि साइरन बज चुके हैं। एंड देन वी वेंट टू पुंछ। हमने डिसाइड किया चलते हैं जहाँ तक जा सकते हैं। सो 5 किलोमीटर पहले ही जैसे ही हम पहुंचे हैं वहाँ पे, एंड देन सेल की आवाज आई है हमारे पास से। एंड देन सडनली 2-3 मतलब सेलिंग की हमारे गाड़ी के बहुत ही नियर था वो। एंड देन फिर थोड़ा पैनिक हुई सागरिका हमारी। एंड देन हमने यू टर्न लिया एंड हम वापस जा रहे थे। देन इतने सारे सेलिंग हमने सुने वहाँ पे, तो हमने कुछ वीडियोस के लिए थोड़ा रुके भी थे। एंड देन हमने थोड़ा रश करके निकले वहाँ से। एंड देन हम होटल लिया एंड रात को हम चार्जिंग के लिए हम लगा रहे थे क्योंकि लाइट्स थी नहीं। बट उन्होंने कहा कि आप चार्ज कर सकते हैं अपने बैटरीज वगैरह, तो हम बैटरीज एंड माइक वगैरह चार्जिंग पे लगा दिए थे हमने। एंड देन अचानक ही सागरिका अपने रूम में जाती है एंड सडनली वहां पे अटैक हुआ, बॉम्ब। एंड 2-3 अटैक के बाद सब पैनिक करने लगे एंड सारे सडनली नीचे बेसमेंट में चले गए। मैंने उनके कुछ पिक्चर्स भी लिए हैं, आई पोस्ट इट व्हेन आई कम बैक। एंड इट्स वेरी डेंजरस बट यू नो पब्लिक इज लाइक कि हमने कभी सोचा नहीं था कि यहाँ भी हो सकता है, बट अब हम कहाँ जाएं, ये लोगों के मन में है।
लेकिन लेकिन है तो एडवेंचरस है, रिस्की है लेकिन एडवेंचरस भी है।
I want to
यस सर, यस
also
सर,
bring another point here.
बोलो।
Sorry. Poonch में जब हम आज सुबह Poonch गए थे, so Suraj and I, we both, what we did on our way, we spoke to the army, we spoke to the cops because they are deployed everywhere, and we spoke to the local populace also to understand कि हम अभी Poonch जा सकते हैं and all of that. They said हाँ go, it's going to be safe. You report till 4-5 o'clock and then you pack and come back. I said okay, we can do that, but another first that has happened today, that they have started shelling in the morning itself, in the afternoon. We were there recording we were recording. वो बोल रहा है कि यहाँ मेरी शेल गिरी थी and डब पूरा बॉम्ब फट गया, started running and we started running. So yeah, the things are quite scary here in Rajouri here and in Jammu where my parents are living. So yeah.
या नूतन, आप आपका भी अब एक्शन पैक्ड एरिया है, और उसमें बहुत खुला बॉर्डर भी है और बहुत एयर बेसिस वगैरह भी हैं। तो आपको कैसा एनवायरनमेंट वहां लग रहा है, और आपने अभी तक क्या किया है? अभी तो एक ही दिन रही हैं आप वहां पे, आपने क्या किया अभी तक?
सर कल जो है पहले हम राजकोट पहुंचे। राजकोट पहुंचकर मैं 5 घंटे का ड्राइव लेकर भुज आई। जब तक मैं आई तब तक अंधेरा हो चुका था। फिर मैं चौराहे पर गई, मैंने देखा पूरा ब्लैकआउट है। जो जिला प्रशासन है यहाँ का, उन्होंने 8 बजे से 6 बजे तक जो है पूरा ब्लैकआउट किया है। लेकिन सुबह सुबह यहाँ पर कुछ ड्रोन्स देखे गए। आज सुबह ही मैं उस स्पॉट पर गई जहाँ एकदम एक ड्रोन था जो गिरा दिया था हमारी सेना ने। वो रिहायशी इलाके से लगभग 200 मीटर के रेडियस पर था, आप ये कह सकते हैं। उसके 200 मीटर अगर वो इधर उधर होता तो जरूर किसी ना किसी घर पर गिरता, लेकिन वो एक जंगल वाले एरिया में गिरा था। अभी जब हम बात कर रहे हैं, जिस स्पॉट पर मैं बैठी हूँ, एक यहाँ पर पुलिस चेक है। जो अब मुझे जो खबर मिली है ये है कि अब सायरन बज गए हैं और लोगों को बोला गया है कि वो अपने घर से ना निकलें। और यहाँ पुलिस, अगर मैं आपको ये दिखा भी सकती हूँ, आप मेरे साथ देख सकते हैं कि किस तरीके से पुलिस जो है अपने जो वाहन है यहाँ पर उनको वापस भेज रही है कि अब वापस जाइए, चेक भी
वो
कर
जो
रही
वो,
है।
वो जो पीछे बसेस हैं उनको भेज रही है।
हाँ हाँ, सबको वापस भेजा जा रहा है क्योंकि जो स्थिति है वो थोड़ी और यहाँ पर डेंजरस होती जा रही है। मुझे अभी भी खबरें मिल रही हैं, मेरे जो साथी हैं वो मुझे बता रहे हैं कि अलग अलग इलाकों में भी ड्रोन मिले हैं। सुबह हमने एक स्पॉट विजिट किया, लेकिन और भी इलाके हैं जहाँ पर ड्रोन का जो है देखा जा रहा है।
क्योंकि ड्रोन की हैरेसमेंट बहुत है, क्योंकि उसके अंदर क्या भरोसा बॉम्ब है कि नहीं है।
राइट सर। तो हमने एक आई विटनेस से भी बात की जो 8:30 बजे चाय पीने के लिए सड़क पर निकला था। उसने हमें बताया दी प्रिंट को कि किस तरीके से वो देख रहा था कि एक कुछ उसमें पहिए भी लगे हुए थे, उसने बताया ड्रोन में, और धुआं निकल रहा था और वो अचानक से नीचे गिर गया। और फिर वहां के लोग भी उसे देखने के लिए गए। फिर अभी तो बहुत ही जब मैं यहाँ पर बैठी थी, मुझे बैठे हुए लगभग 2 घंटे का समय बीत चुका है। तब यहाँ पर एकदम जो मूवमेंट एकदम नॉर्मल थी, लोग आ जा रहे थे। लेकिन अभी आपसे बात करने के दौरान ही बहुत भारी मात्रा में पुलिस बल यहाँ पर दिखा और सबकी जांच हो रही है गाड़ियों की, उन्हें वापस भेजा जा रहा है।
अब इसके बाद आपकी क्या प्लान है?
सर अभी कुछ बॉर्डर विलेजेस हैं जो हमें विजिट करने हैं। पोर्ट एरियाज भी हैं जहाँ पर हमें रिपोर्टिंग करनी है, पोर्ट एरियाज में किस तरीके के प्रबंध हैं। और अब धीरे धीरे यहाँ पर जो ब्लैकआउट है वो पिछले 3 दिन से लग रहा है, लेकिन दिन में स्थिति सामान्य मानी जाती थी। यहाँ पर जो लोकल लोग हैं वो, उनका ये कहना है कि जो ड्रोन है वो निगरानी करने के लिए आए थे, देखने के लिए। अब शायद मिसाइलों की
हाँ
खबर भी हो सकती है, हालांकि कोई आधिकारिक पुष्टि अभी तक नहीं हुई है मिसाइलों को लेकर, लेकिन यहाँ जो लोकल लोग हैं उनमें इस तरीके की बातचीत है।
हाँ, लेकिन वो बात उनकी लोकल लोगों को भी अकल है। सभी लोग ये सोच रहे हैं कि जो ये पहले ड्रोन आई हैं ये प्रोब कर रहे हैं पाकिस्तानी,
हाँ
हमारे डिफेंसेस कैसे हैं, हमारे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स कैसे हैं, हमारे रडार ऑन करें तो रडार की फ्रीक्वेंसी वो पकड़ सकते हैं। तो
हाँ,
हमारे
तो मैं आपको ये बताना चाहूंगी सर कि जो ड्रोन आदिपुर इलाके में गिरा वो बॉर्डर से 180 किलोमीटर दूर था, तो हम ये
अच्छा,
कह सकते हैं कि उनके जो ड्रोन है वो 180 किलोमीटर तक आ गए हैं भारत में।
हाँ, वो तो उससे भी आगे कई जगह पहुंचे हैं। लेकिन वही है कि जब वो चलता है तो सब रडार ऑन अगर करें और मिसाइल सिस्टम ऑन करें तो उसको उनको फ्रीक्वेंसी पता लग सकती है।
जी सर।
काफी काफी ड्रोन जो हैं ये आजकल एआई इनेबल्ड भी होते हैं। तो ये बात सेनाएं जानती है, हमारी सेना भी जानती है कि जब ड्रोन स्वार्म आता है तो वो एआई इनेबल्ड होते हैं। तो स्वार्म से वो एआई से ये पता लग सकता है कि हमारे एयर डिफेंस में गैप्स कहाँ पे हैं, ताकि कल को अगर मिसाइल आना हो या जहाज आना हो तो उसको पता लगे कि यहाँ पे गैप है, इनके गन्स हैं, जो इनके मिसाइल है वो यहाँ पे सेट हुए हैं, उसके बीच में गैप है, मैं आ सकता हूँ। तो हमारे लोग भी जानते हैं। तो ये एक तरह का एक बहुत ही फैसिनेटिंग, इट्स ए वेरी फैसिनेटिंग डांस दैट गोज ऑन बिटवीन द डिफेंडर एंड बिटवीन द अटैकर। सो वो
राइट सर।
so and you are witnessing that with you, Manisha, tell us
Hi,
your
sir.
experiences. Hi.
Hi. So, sir, right now I'm heading to Kutch, but कल मैं नूतन के साथ ही राजकोट पहुंची। राजकोट पहुंचने के बाद सर सबसे पहले तो हमने राजकोट की तैयारी भी देखी कि क्योंकि राजकोट सौराष्ट्र में सबसे बड़ा सिटी है, और राजकोट अगर कुछ भी होता है बॉर्डरिंग स्टेट्स में, बॉर्डरिंग एरियाज में
अरे राजकोट इज द सिटी ऑफ रविंद्र जडेजा, राइट?
यस यस
हाँ,
यस। सो उनकी क्या तैयारी है, हमने एसपी से बात की कैसी चेकिंग चल रही है, एंड जो उनके डीएम है, डीएम ने भी हमें ये बताया कि हॉस्पिटल्स में ऑलरेडी ट्रॉमा वार्ड्स विद प्रॉपर टीम रेडी है, और वो कैसे इसके बाद प्रोसीड करेंगे इफ एनीथिंग हैपेंस।
so are you finding officials helpful?
सर yesterday the officials were really helpful, जिनसे हमने बात की, एसपी एंड डीएम, they both helped us, both Nootan and I, and right now I'm heading to Kutch. I will, like, after reaching here and speaking to the other officials, let's see how helpful they are.
सर
Yeah.
कच्छ में हेल्पफुल नहीं है, कच्छ में नहीं है। मैंने बात करने की कोशिश की, और ये भी समझा सकता है कि वो बिजी भी हैं, कई तरह के इंतजाम उन्हें करने हैं। मैंने कई कॉल्स किए तो उनसे तो मेरी बातचीत नहीं हो पाई। हालांकि एसपी स्पॉट पर आए थे, उन्होंने ये जो ड्रोन गिरा है उस स्पॉट पर आए थे और वहां पुष्टि की कि ये पाकिस्तानी ड्रोन ही है। लेकिन आधिकारिक रूप से मीडिया से मुझसे तो कोई बातचीत अभी नहीं हुई है, पर मैं ये समझ रही हूँ कि क्योंकि स्थिति जो है थोड़ी
सब
डेंजरस है।
टेंशन में, पर जनरली आप सबका इंप्रेशन क्या है? जो ऑफिसर्स हैं, चाहे वो डीएम हो चाहे वो एसपी हो, वो जर्नलिस्ट को, डू दे वेलकम जर्नलिस्ट और डू दे सी जर्नलिस्ट एज ए पेस्टिलेंस? फ्रॉम वेयर हैव दिस पेस्ट?
सर
ये सर
मैं बताऊं, अगर हम राजकोट के एसपी से मिले थे तो वो तो आपके फैन थे, दी प्रिंट को वो सुनते हैं, सब्सक्राइबर थे, तो उन्होंने बहुत अच्छे से हमें चाय पिलाई, बहुत अच्छे से ट्रीट किया, बेस्ट ऑफ लक कहा, और ये भी कहा कि कैसे सेफ रहा जा सकता है। यहाँ पे जो पुलिस वाले लोग भी हैं वो भी काफी हेल्पफुल हैं, जो भी मदद की जरूरत होती है वो प्रोवाइड कराते हैं, समझते हैं कि उनका भी काम है और हमारा भी काम है।
Any other impressions of officials? Are they
तो
generally
यहाँ पे सर in Bathinda there is this DM district magistrate, his name is Shaukat Ahmed. He is very helpful with information. मतलब if he doesn't want to share, he will say कि this is a very delicate piece of information, situation is volatile, I'm sorry I can't share it. Even when Bathinda में सर काफी ज्यादा अटैक्स हो चुके हैं इन द लास्ट कपल, आज सुबह भी इनफैक्ट बहुत ज्यादा हफरा तफरी मच गई थी बिकॉज एक एरिया में कुछ लॉइटरिंग एम्यूनिशन से कुछ हुआ था, आफत में मच गया था उस एरिया में। तो व्हेन आई जस्ट हैड टू ड्रॉप हिम अ टेक्स्ट कि मेरे को बता दो, आप बता सकते हो कि नहीं, ऑन रिकॉर्ड बताना है कि ऑफ रिकॉर्ड बताना है। ही वाज वेरी हेल्पफुल, द डीआईजी वाज वेरी हेल्पफुल, द एसएसपी वाज वेरी हेल्पफुल, द एसपीज ऑन ग्राउंड आर वेरी हेल्पफुल। अभी फिरोजपुर में ऑल्सो सो फार माय एक्सपीरियंस हैज बीन फाइन। और सर बहुत सारे जो यंग ऑफिसर्स है वो आपके बहुत फैन है, तो जब वो द प्रिंट में बोलते तो वो डायरेक्टली यही बात बोलते, कड्डा क्लटर। मैंने बोला हाँ देखो कड्डा क्लटर में एपिसोड आएगा, आप लोग हेल्प कर दो। So that also works in our favor.
All of you are also cutting the clutter by being on the ground now. Mayank, Amritsar was under big attack last night. And when I heard this nutcase Pakistan DG ISPR saying India has fired ballistic missiles from Adhampur to Jalandhar, मतलब मुझे कोई बात समझ नहीं आई। तो उसने कहा कि 5 वहां फटे हैं, तो मैंने कहा बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल फटे हैं तो बड़ा वहां पे कुछ तमाशा होगा। इफ यू आस्क पीपल जनरली पाकिस्तान बॉर्डर कहाँ है, right? People will generally say Amritsar, Wagah, because everybody goes there for the ceremony. Also, this is Amritsar after all. So how are the Punjabis taking this tension? Because they are also used to seeing this in the past.
As you rightly said, sir, so they are not afraid. One thing that making it clear that we are not afraid of it, we are not anxious as it appears, say from a distance, say for people in Delhi, that how bad situation or how bad or worse the situation might have been in Punjab. But what their point is that we have seen it coming. We could see it coming. We have already seen in other wars as well. People who have seen 1971, their point is that we have seen it. So it's just matter of time, things will de-escalate. One thing that they are saying that it's very unprecedented to see the number of drones that are coming their way in civilian area. So this morning, even Indian Army released a statement saying that some 5 drones were spotted and they were intercepted by the air defense system. So what happened in morning around 5:20, then one of the village, Wadala, just 20 kilometers away from the Amritsar city and also around 15 kilometers from the international border. So one wreckage from, I believe that even local officials are suspecting that it was a wreckage of a drone that fell in the center of the village, in house of a farmer. So God forbid something bad might have happened. It's just fortunate for the villagers and also the house owner that nothing untoward incident happened, but it could have happened. So their point is only that this is unprecedented on the level of scale of drone attack coming their way. Their point is that we have seen that yes, armies have fought wars. In the past, we have seen it all, but we have not seen the attack on civilians and villages to such scale. That's the element of surprise for them.
Yeah, our wars in the past were fairly ethical in the sense that soldiers fought soldiers and civilians were not deliberately harmed. I mean, once shells are flying, anybody can get harmed, but they were not deliberately harmed. But this seems to be a nasty period. That's why all of you have to be even more careful because,
And on the thing, to add on to your point, sir, that what could be the reason behind that, I would say mad excuse of, that India launching a ballistic missile in Amritsar. It could have been related to a blackout in Amritsar that was also imposed on Harminder Sahib. So it was a maybe very bad optics for Pakistan because you have seen number of videos of say Gurbatpant Singh Pannoon and others saying that Sikhs are being targeted in India. So it was a very bad optics for Pakistan because the blackout was also imposed on Harminder Sahib. So every building, including the Harminder Sahib, was completely covered with blanket darkness. So it was a bad PR for Pakistan. So maybe they wanted to counter that thing.
Initially I thought that in today's warfare, why do we need blackouts? Because I went to cover the Gulf War in 1991. Every night, American planes used to come and bomb the daylights out of Baghdad. Big buildings would come down, lots of bombing, but everything was well lit because that planes will not come on top, visually sight something and bomb. They had their targets and they will release their bombs from a distance. They didn't need the light. So I was thinking, why are we doing the blackouts? But now I figure, and that is something that maybe Bismee will tell us more about, that some of these drones, or loitering munitions, they also latch on to light. They are attracted to light because one incident that happened in Ferozepur,
yes,
where a family suffered because of an explosion. Looks like they had left the headlights of their car on.
Yes,
And,
that's exactly what happened.
and
Yes.
this drone got sort of attracted almost like a firefly, जुगनू की तरह से, got attracted to those lights and went and exploded there. So what happened?
और दूसरा एक तो ये लाइट वाला, एक तो they had the car lights were on. दूसरी चीज सर, whenever there's a red alert and there's a blackout, you are asked to stay inside the house. Why they asked us to stay inside the house? So that we have a roof on top. We are not supposed to stay in a terrace. तो मैं आज उनके घर विजिट करके आई. सर उनका घर थोड़ा हवेली फॉर्मेट का है. बाहर जहाँ पे वो बफेलोज वगैरह है, उनके गाड़ी उसके बगल में ही है. I've taken visuals. I'll be filing the text and the video story as well on this. तो वहां पे वो लोग बैठ के खाना खा रहे थे, मोमबत्ती भी जली हुई थी उनकी गाड़ी के लाइट के साथ भी. तो वो उनसे जब मैंने बात की, उनके बेटे से बात की, बेटे को सर वो नहीं है, बर्न इंजरी नहीं है, उसको स्प्लिंटर इंजरी है. उसकी माँ को 100% बर्न इंजरी है एंड पापा को 72% इंजरीज है. एंड बोथ ऑफ देम आर अराउंड 60-62. तो व्हेन आई स्पोक टू द डॉक्टर एंड आई स्पोक टू द सन, तो वो बोल रहे थे कि ऊपर से गोला गिर गया और वो फट गया. तो what officials suspect here कि this was some sort of ammunition. The drone got signal there because सर ड्रोन ने नहीं क्रैश इन किया है वहां पे, नहीं तो इम्पैक्ट और काफी ज्यादा होता, पूरा घर ही उड़ जाता है. एक एरिया में हुआ है तो सम सॉर्ट ऑफ एम्यूनिशन वाज ड्रॉप्ड and that was signaled because of the light of the car.
So that is called a loitering munition. Loitering munition, it's programmed to be attracted by something, or it's programmed to seek something. For example, it can be programmed to seek heat of an engine if you're trying to target tanks in warfare. You see this in videos of the war in Ukraine. That's very much...
They are also using it to target our military bases, our Air Force stations also.
Yes.
I've officially confirmed this. Yeah.
So, Krishan, where are you headed now after this? इसके बाद
मैं भी सर मैं भी जैसलमेर में हूँ, और जैसलमेर से करीब 30-35 किलोमीटर दूर एक बदोरा विलेज है. वहां पर जो है कुछ फ्रेगमेंट्स जो थे वो मिसाइल के आज सुबह ही मिले हैं 5:30 बजे. मैं उस तरफ जा रहा था तो उस गांव में और उस गांव के आसपास काफी सारे फ्रेगमेंट्स सुबह सुबह मिले. रात में भी पोखरन में जो है वो ड्रोन स्वार्म से पूरा हमला हुआ. तो वहां मैंने लोगों से बात की तो उन्होंने कहा कि 8:30 बजे रात में करीब बहुत तेज हमले हुए और आसपास के करीब 5-7 किलोमीटर तक उसकी आवाज सुनाई दी. फिर 9:05 के आसपास फिर से हमला हुआ. तो एक ये चीज है कि लोगों से जब मैं बात कर रहा था तो वो ये कह रहे हैं कि हर सुबह जब हम उठते थे तो एक वो अलसाई सुबह होती थी, लेकिन इस समय हम बहुत जागरूक हैं इस चीजों को लेकर. रात भर जगते रहते हैं, रात भर इस बात को लेकर आपस में बात करते रहते हैं, एक दूसरे को मोटिवेट करते हैं कि नहीं अभी जगना है, अभी मुश्किल वक्त है. और इसलिए सबसे पहली चीज जो लोग कर रहे हैं ग्राउंड पे, अगर कोई मिसाइल का टुकड़ा देख रहे हैं या ड्रोन का टुकड़ा देख रहे हैं तो वो खुद नहीं जा रहे हैं उसके पास, क्योंकि उनके पास एक एग्जाम्पल है. जब कोई गया था और वो फट गया था तो लोग सबसे पहले पुलिस को या आर्मी पर्सनल को फोन कर रहे हैं, उन्हें बता रहे हैं, फिर वो पूरा इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रहे हैं.
इनफैक्ट
तो जैसलमेर की जो
हाँ बोलिए
जैसलमेर की जो अभी स्थिति है वो लगातार बदल रही है. कल जब मैं यहाँ पर आया था तो सिर्फ ये था कि शाम 6 बजे से लेकर सुबह के 6 बजे तक जो है पूरा मार्केट बंद रहेगा और ब्लैकआउट रहेगा. लेकिन सुबह के वक्त जब 5-5:30 बजे के वक्त जब हमले हुए बीकानेर में, बाड़मेर में, पोखरन के आसपास, तो उसके बाद पूरा प्रशासनिक महकमा जो था वो जागा और उसने कहा कि अब पूरा मार्केट जो है वो शट डाउन रहेगा. एक लॉकडाउन जैसी स्थिति जो है वो पूरे शहर में, पूरे जिले में जो है वो पसरी हुई दिखती है. किसी को भी बाहर निकलने की इजाजत नहीं है और शहर में कोई भी दाखिल हो रहा है तो उसकी जांच की जा रही है, उससे पूछा जा रहा है कि आप कहाँ जा रहे हैं. तो एक तरीके से लगातार यहाँ पर स्थिति जो है वो बदल रही है. इसके बाद मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि बाड़मेर जाया जाए, क्योंकि बाड़मेर में बहुत सारी घटनाएं जो हैं ड्रोन के या मिसाइल के वो वहां पर हुए हैं. तो लेकिन अभी ये अच्छी चीज है कि किसी की भी हताहत होने की कोई खबर अभी तक नहीं है.
पर देखिए आप इतना अभी यू मस्ट बी मीटिंग ए लॉट ऑफ सोल्जर्स, आर्म फोर्सेस पीपल. हाउ डू यू फाइंड द मूड देयर? इज देयर, आर दे गंग हो, आर दे, इज द जोश हाई, और इज देयर, what's the mood and how do they relate to you? I know they are not supposed to talk with you very much, but एक थोड़ा mood तो मालूम पड़ता है. Does anybody want to talk about their interactions?
बिल्कुल, मैंने कुछ सैनिकों से रास्ते में बात की वो बिल्कुल तैयार थे, वो बिल्कुल बॉर्डर की तरफ जाने को तैयार थे कि हम जा रहे हैं और मुश्किल वक्त है। पूरी टीम एक दूसरे के साथ बात करती है, उनको चीयर अप करती है और हंसी मजाक भी होता है, और पिछले जंगों के बारे में भी वो बात कर रहे हैं। हालांकि वो लड़े नहीं है, लेकिन 65 की जंग की बात हो, 1971 की बात हो, चाहे 1948 का कबायली हमला हो, उसके एग्जाम्पल्स हैं उनके पास, अब्दुल हामिद की कहानियां हैं उनके पास। तो वो
अब
उन चीजों को बात करते हैं। और राजस्थान जो है का शेखावटी रीजन जो है वो तो सैनिकों के लिए जाना जाता है। तो राजस्थान के लोग भी जो बूस्ट हैं बिल्कुल एकदम, और जो यहाँ के स्थानीय लोग हैं वो भी काफी मदद कर रहे हैं। सैनिकों को रास्ते में पानी पिला रहे हैं, उन्हें कह रहे हैं कि आप जाइए, हम लोग साथ हैं आपके। किस तरीके की चीजें ग्राउंड पे हो रही
बहुत
हैं।
अच्छा, क्योंकि देखिए अब जैसलमेर में है, जैसलमेर के आगे तो लौंगे वाला है, जहाँ पे
जी।
इतना फेमस बैटल हुआ था सन
हाँ
71 में, मेजर कुलदीप
जी।
सिंह कानपुरी वाला, जिसके ऊपर फिल्म बनी थी बॉर्डर। तो ये सब
यस।
हिस्टोरिक स्टोरीड इलाके हैं।
और
एनीबडी
एक
एल्स?
और चीज उन्होंने बोला, एक और चीज वो बोल रहे थे कि तनोट माता मंदिर जो है, जिसके ऊपर बहुत सारे हमले हुए 1971 में, लेकिन एक भी बम नहीं फटा जैसा कि लोग वहां के दावा करते हैं। उन्होंने कहा कि इस बार भी जैसलमेर में कोई हताहत इसलिए नहीं हो रहा है क्योंकि तनोट माता का हम पे कृपा है।
चलिए, फेथ बहुत जरूरी है लाइफ में, और खास करके जब खतरा होता है तो फेथ और भी जरूरी है। एनीबडी एल्स
जी।
हैज एक्सपीरियंसेस विद द आर्म्ड
सर
फोर्सेस?
आज सुबह जब मेरे होटल में आए हुए थे सर, एयरफोर्स, इंडियन एयरफोर्स के लोग, फिर मुझे अपने साथ लेके गए थे वो एरिया दिखाने के लिए एक दो जगह। तो मेरी जब उनसे बात हुई थी तो वो बता रहे थे, दे वर ऑल्सो टॉकिंग अबाउट सर डॉग फाइट्स के बारे में बात कर रहे थे। उसी टाइम पे हमारा हो भी रहा था।
हाँ।
व्हेन आई वाज विद देम इन देयर कार, दे वर टॉकिंग अबाउट इट एज व्हेन इट वाज हैपनिंग, और हमारी ग्रुप पे भी वो बातें हम लोग कर रहे थे। तो देन दे वर एक्सप्लेनिंग, वो मूवीज के साथ कंपेयर कर रहे थे एक्चुअल एक्सपीरियंस कैसा होता है। उनमें से दो विंग कमांडर्स थे, एक स्क्वाड्रन लीडर थे। तो वो बता रहे थे कि अरे तो ऐसे कैसे हम हार मान जाएंगे। फिर वो बातें कर रहे थे कि मूवीज में अलग होता है, ऊपर जाने में वैसा होता है। तो दे वर शेयरिंग अ लॉट ऑफ देयर ओन पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंसेस आल्सो। एंड देन दे वर आल्सो टॉकिंग अबाउट द प्रोपेगेंडा दैट इज गोइंग ऑन ऑनलाइन। देन दे वर आल्सो टॉकिंग अबाउट कि क्या टीवी में क्या दिखा रहे हो, मिसाइल को ड्रोन बुला रहे हो, ड्रोन को मिसाइल बुला रहे हो। दे वर आल्सो लाफिंग। बोल रहे थे कि ये मीडिया में ये बातें चल रही है कि हमारा वो एयरक्राफ्ट उड़ा दिया, कहाँ है वो एयरक्राफ्ट का पीस, दिखाओ हमें। लाइक दे वर आल्सो टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑल ऑफ दोस थिंग्स। देन उसके बाद उन्होंने अपना अपना जर्नी भी थोड़ा, मैंने उनसे बात की, व्हाई डिड दे डिसाइड टू जॉइन द फोर्सेस। वन ऑफिसर टोल्ड मी, मेरा घर पठानकोट में है, मेरे घर के ऊपर से रोज जहाज जाती थी, तो इसलिए मैं बन गया पायलट।
So there is a good bonhomie and there is a good interaction. Praveen, you've dealt
Yeah,
with the armed forces.
I'd like to add one bit.
Yes.
So, in my limited interactions with the armed forces so far, especially in Poonch region, while even I was going towards Poonch from Jammu, so they ask you, and what has surprised me most is that they say that you have you also have a very difficult job to do and do it the way it should be done, and this is the lifeline of our democracy. These were the
These are
line.
ordinary soldiers say that.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And they offer you food that there is
Yes.
nothing open in the town. अगर नहीं मिला कुछ, just find us, we will provide you food. And one of the most fascinating thing was that every time a soldier hears a loud blast, they say कि this sounds like a howitzer. ये उनका है. Another blast, this sounds like what was that Indian? This sounds like
Bofors.
Bofors. This
Bofors.
sounds like Bofors. So they can say it, they can analyze the audio, they can analyze the sounds and make the deduction that
Because
based on.
in my experience, I can tell you that in all these situations, the armed forces, the soldiers are very warm and generous. But I mean, our experiences as journalists, but they are really welcoming of journalists and very generous, and they really look after you. Bolo
I
bolo.
wanted to add two essential points because in Poonch area there is also scarcity of food because the town is empty, the shops are closed. So yesterday, Suraj and I decided that okay, we will have some fruits. We saw a fruit shop. So there was army also there. So they really helped us. ये वाला fruit अच्छा है, ये वाला लो, and why are you going there? It's a tense situation, and I being a woman, don't go. What will you do? Okay, now you want to go. You want any place to stay? I will provide you. They're very warm. Second essential point is that about Poonch, I wanted to talk about that, like in Jammu, because In Jammu and border areas, you have bunkers. Now that target that has shifted to civilian population, for example, Poonch city, they don't have bunkers,
Right.
right? So they don't know where to go. So they're huddling up at each other's houses. जिसका लग रहा है ज़्यादा घर नीचे है, ठीक है, or they're coming down to the ground floor. So that is also resulting in a lot of casualty because there are no bunkers, there are no space to hide basically because they were never thought there should be a bunker. Never such thing has happened in the past.
Right.
So I thought that is an important point to add.
Yeah. Good. Sharan, you are a young man. You have no experience of seeing blackouts and these situations, and you are from the nicest part of the country, nicest city in the country, the feel-good city, Bengaluru. What's your experience being? But you are a Kodava. So Kodavas make good soldiers, right? You are a martial race. How are you handling this? And tell me your experiences and what stories are you doing?
So, I mean, on the day we came here, that was on the 8th, so there was shelling then, at least some drone attacks and some lights out. But what was kind of strange that happened yesterday was almost like clockwork. At the same time, at 8, it was lights out. And then about 5 or 10 minutes later, you could see, red flashes, the anti-drone systems taking off. So where I am staying right now, we have a great, a proper view of the entire city and what's playing out there. So all of us just sitting and looking up in the sky, it just feels some of it, it's so far off and you can see small flashes. But then this morning we heard quite a few of these, I think aerial distance is about 10-15 kilometers to the border. And I think another 20 kilometers is Sialkot. So people here, very warm. I've been here in 2011 as part of the Defense Correspondence course. In fact, it was Jammu, Akhnur and Nagrota, the places that I'm looking at right now, are the places that I was here in the past as well. And at the time that we were there then, we did spend time in the line of control. So we know those tensions, and also that in a place like, in Jammu, most of the information that we're getting is from officers who are, on guard duty and other places. Now, they spend their entire duty lives, careers, wearing all of these heavy equipment. It's not like they're war ready at all times. But the sad part for some of them is yesterday I was speaking to one of these officers, a constable. He's from Poonch. And, there's shelling happening at his home around those areas. But he's guarding the refugees from Akhnur who are now placed, or rather are now housed in Mishriwale somewhere in Jammu. And, he has to continue his job, but he knows what's happening there. But very helpful in trying to share information with us. And a lot of the officers, of course, even on a regular day, they travel with very armed convoys, very careful on how they move. And of course, now it's even more heightened. Yesterday, we saw, Omar Abdullah make the trip from Srinagar to Jammu because of the few attacks or the few drone attacks that had happened. And today as well, the DM followed. So there's always, when you see a huge convoy, you know that that's the DM. So they're not very easily accessible. But the most helpful people are the officers, the bobbies on the beat with the guns standing at every place. Absolutely phenomenal in, they share some of their, we did a story from the Mishriwala camp. Now, these are people from villages somewhere around on the border villages of Akhnur. Now, they know that they've seen shelling, about in the 65, 71 and other times. But they say that they're brought to Jammu for safety. But now the strange thing that they tell us is that the bombs have followed them to Jammu, which they've never seen before.
Because of the drones and loitering munitions. So
correct. Yeah.
Bad things.
And today, in fact, yeah. So today there have been two, major incidents. There's one locality here, a very densely populated locality called Rehari, and then there is another thing called Roopnagar, which is close to the Aap Shambhu temple. Now, these two places, proper, we don't know what the projectile is, but it has damaged almost, one entire lane of houses, cars destroyed, almost everything in the path, many people injured. Now, these people, there's an air raid warning today as well. But most of the time when there's a blackout, they said, please go back into your houses, stay indoors, stay under concrete walls. But after this morning's, incidents, people are scared. They don't know where to go. Should they leave to Delhi? Should they stay back here? And Sagrika was also earlier mentioning, and I've done some speaking to them, the Kashmiri Pandits. Now, their children who are in, Delhi and other places are asking their parents to come back because there's some shelling happening, some impact being felt in Jammu. Now, there's a lot of trauma attached to this because these people don't want to leave. They've already left once and could never return to Kashmir. Now they don't want to leave Jammu and then, find themselves never to return to Jammu again. So there's a lot of things playing out. Me from Bangalore, yes, I have known about these things, but yes, it's very new to see people. Acha, no. So I was saying that, in Bangalore, we complain about bad infrastructure, roads, whatever we think is important for that city, we do that. But when you get here, you know that, those things won't matter because people here have, their problems are so different. It's a matter of life and death, and it's not just aesthetic problems that they have. It's absolute life and death. A lot of them dealing with past traumas.
Yeah, that's what reporters' life is all about. You get so many different experiences, and really these are moments when we really love our job. We are so thrilled that we are journalists. Otherwise, we'll not be seeing history being made like that. I know there are hazards, and it's not the most comfortable way of traveling to be a reporter, particularly in conflict zones. But this is all part of learning. All of us have to pay our dues, and all of you are doing that. In the newsroom, all of us are proud of you. Thank you very much, all of you, for being so brave and for volunteering for this very difficult assignment.